Hi, today I am doing the Cinderella Book Tag. This tag was created by Heather Reeds and Books Off the Beaten Path. I saw Pat from Book Chat with Pat do this video and she tagged me, so I'm going to do it. This is a tag with questions inspired by the story of Cinderella, and this is one of those fun tags where each prompt has a word or phrase related to what the tag's about and a question to go along with it. So let's get started. The first prompt says, "The Pumpkin Coach. Is there a bookish event or bookish location that you've not been able to get to at all, or as much as you'd like to?" For this question, I tried to think of bookish events that there are and if I've really been to any. Not really. I mean, I've never been to any sort of book convention. I've never been to any kind of author signing. That's an event I'd like to go to if it's an author I liked. I would definitely love to go to that, or some event where I would meet an author I like. I think that would be an interesting experience, and I've seen things online about those, but there haven't been any near me that I've wanted to go to so far, but maybe one day. I also want to explore some little free libraries, as I've mentioned, but have yet to go to those. Well, I did see one when I was already at the park recently, but I mean, I want to make a video where I go around and explore those, but we're not ready to do that just yet, but I am keeping it in mind. As for a convention, there aren't any specific ones that I really want to go to, but I know that those have existed, so maybe that would be interesting. Prompt number 2, the mice turn to horses. Name up to 3 books that are small fry in the book world but mean a lot to you, or name an author who does not get the publicity they deserve and transform their reputation on BookTube. Here I have put all my Travis M. Riddle books, and there are some other books of his that I don't have yet, but I have a good amount of them. I have talked about him on my channel many times and will continue to, as he is a small self-published author who I've really enjoyed. I haven't read all these books. I've read all but 3 of them, but all the books of his I've read, I've really enjoyed. The one I enjoyed the least was a novella, and that's a little different because that's a novella, but besides that, I have never given any of his books lower than 4 stars thus far. And some of the books I've really enjoyed. I know there's been at least one booktuber who did get one of his books because I kept mentioning them, so thank you. I'll just keep mentioning him. He may not be for everyone, but I definitely like talking about books that aren't talked about a whole lot on BookTube. I like to just read what I want to read. Sometimes I'll read more popular books if I'm genuinely interested in them, but I pretty much just read what I want, not really what's trending. And I know that some people may not read many self-published authors because they're hesitant, because they may think that it's not very good quality, and some of them are like that, but well, for one, you can look at the reviews, but you can also see my videos about them, and in this case I think this author is very good and I would love for more people to read his books. It may not be for everyone, but I think if more people read them, I think a lot of people would like them. So he writes mainly fantasy. He has written a little bit of horror, but yeah, mainly fantasy, not any contemporary stuff. Well, one of the horrors was like a contemporary horror, so it did take place in the real world, but there was also this like other kind of world involved. His books range from like for teenagers to adults. Some are definitely more adult, but others would be appropriate for teens. If you'd like to know any more, please ask me, and I also have reviews of some of his books on my channel. Some of his books I read before starting this channel, so I don't have a review of that, but I may reread it someday just to enjoy it again and also to make a review of it. There are some books I think I'd like to do that with, to enjoy them again, and also so I can do a review of them, because I don't want to do a review of a book I read years ago because I think at that point it's just not fresh in my mind. It wouldn't be as fair. But yeah, I really enjoy his books. As you can see, some of them are pretty big, but I've found that they're very enjoyable, character-driven, interesting, unique. A lot of stuff about food. That's a common thing in his books, so if you like reading about food, then maybe you'll enjoy that. I've often found them humorous and just a good time. I don't read a lot of fantasy, but that's partially just because I need to explore it more. But what I've read from him, I have enjoyed. So I'm not quite sure I have the power to completely transform his reputation on BookTube, but I can do my part, and even though I'm not getting him out there a whole lot, that could change, and I do feel good about doing my part and contributing just a little bit. Prompt number 3 says, "The Glass Slipper. Name a book you loved but you either gave away / lost / left behind and now you feel you need to replace." I kind of struggled coming up with an answer for this one. Thankfully, I'm not quite sure there are any, but I will say that I do eventually want to get another copy of The Diary of a Wimpy Kid Do-It-Yourself book by Jeff Kinney. I currently own all the main books in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series and the movie diaries, but not yet the Rowley books. I plan on getting those eventually, and I did have the Do-It-Yourself book as a kid. I had multiple of them, actually. Like, I would get one and then a while later I'd get another, because those were really fun. And when I was younger, I really enjoyed any books where you could write in, especially answer questions about yourself. So I do want to get that one eventually. But why I haven't done it quite yet is because I want to make a video when I get the next one, and make a video about the process of filling it out, because I think that would be fun and interesting to see how I fill it out as an adult, because the book is targeted for kids, but it could be a fun experience. And I really enjoy videos that people make about getting someone's used book of that and looking through it. Those are usually pretty entertaining. So that is a book I used to have that I will want to get another copy of someday when I'm ready. That is an idea I have had for a while, and I would also just like to own all the books in that universe. Prompt number 4, The Ball Gown. Name a book you have not read, but what you've heard about it makes you think it will fit you perfectly. Well, I am very excited to read Elle McNichol's middle grade novel Show Us Who You Are. Last year I read her for the first time. I read her novel A Kind of Spark, and I really enjoyed that one. Elle McNichol is a neurodivergent author who writes stories with neurodivergent characters. She is one of the authors I will be reading to read books with autistic characters, not just like side characters, but main characters. And that is representation that I really enjoy seeing and really resonate with. I can resonate with some things in other books, but especially with that. So I really am looking forward to reading more of her books, and this is one that I got recently and would love to read at some point. Hopefully soon. I will definitely get to it this year. I already have a feeling that it will be in my top 10 books of 2026. I know that's a bold statement to make, but I think it'll be pretty good. I mean, A Kind of Spark was in my top 10, and I know that this book is a little different from A Kind of Spark, as that book was more contemporary. This one has like a science fiction technology aspect to it, but I've heard that it involves ideas of eugenics, and so I think that that will be an important thing to read about, and I'm looking forward to seeing how she handles that, especially in a book that's middle grade, so it shouldn't be too intense, but still goes over important things, because middle grade books, although they are for a younger audience, can be very deep, very profound, and quite emotional as well. So I have a feeling that I'm really going to enjoy this book when I get to it. Some books are just an enjoyable story, and that's great, but I think if it's also a book that has representation, especially one that I can resonate with, and if it goes over important ideas, then I think that's even better, and I'm more likely to enjoy it. The 5th prompt says, The Fairy Godmother. Your bookish fairy godmother is prepared to make 3 books appear in front of you right now. These may be existing books or books you wish someone would write. What will you ask for? I decided to say some books that are on my TBR but are not in print and kind of hard to find, or rather very hard to find. So I came up with 3 of those. One of them is the 2001 biography, Blink-182, Tales from Beneath Your Mom. This was written by Ann Hoppus, one of the members' sisters. This book is kind of hard to find nowadays, but of course being in the fandom, I hear about it, and I've seen some stuff from it, but do not have my own copy, and hopefully I'll find one someday. I don't know how hard that will be. And I also would at some point like to find a copy of Meet Me in St. Louis by Sally Benson. I've seen the movie and wanted to read the book, but that also seems kind of hard to find. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on a book. I just don't do that. And I am also interested in maybe someday reading Peace with Honor by A.A. Milne, who is most known as the author of Winnie the Pooh. But this was a nonfiction book that he wrote about his thoughts on war. I believe he was in World War I and didn't like his experience, and it further shaped his beliefs about war. And I would just like to read his ideas. That might be interesting. So those are some books that I don't know if I'll ever read. I don't know if I'll ever find a copy of, but maybe someday. So having that bookish fairy godmother could be useful. And the 6th prompt is just to tag some people, basically anybody who sees this and wants to do it, as usual, and thank you for watching.